everyone. Welcome to another episode of Simply Nerdy. I'm your host, Steven. I'm joined today by the panel, and we are here to talk about Beyond Good and Evil because we had a leak. It leaked. It came on the Ubisoft Plus subscription service on accident, and then Ubisoft came out on X, and they said, oh, whoops, this just came out of the bag. So, look forward to this 20th anniversary of the Beyond Good and Evil game. And we thought we'd come over on the panel and just discuss, because we are huge Beyond Good and Evil fans. I mean, I can't speak for these guys, but I have an email address based off it. I have all of my folders in that email address as MDisk. Love this game, one of my favorites of all time. Let's get into it. Guys, Beyond Good and Evil League 20th anniversary. Give me all your thoughts.
You know what? Part of me, my first thought, I wonder if it was supposed to come out sooner and that's why it leaked. Once Ubisoft was forced to be like, oh yeah, I guess the cat's out of the bag. Then they told us 2024. But how could that accidentally happen unless it was close, right?
Right. And did you see the footage too? The footage, there's some of them that had bad water effects and stuff. It was not ready. So if it was scheduled to release, that might have been the original release date, perhaps. But it was not ready. They forgot to turn off the,
I wonder.
From launching.
I don't know if I believe that though, because I don't know. Maybe it wasn't such an official channel that I could believe it. But the reason I was going to say that is because Genshin Impact has leaks all the time, and Toyo gets real mad. So I was like,
I hope nobody got fired. Okay.
Well,
no,
I don't know. Hopefully,
just throwing that out there.
Yeah, for the Beyond Good and Evil one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was probably an accident, but part of me, just a little part of me, is like, oh, people didn't like it. We better delay it to 2024 and polish it up a little bit more. And I don't.
I hope that's not the case. Ubisoft, you better treat this game with some serious love, because
as far as the 20th anniversary edition of Beyond Good and Evil, I want to play it. Ubisoft did admit that the early release for that was an early build.
Mm-hmm.
It was an early build. Sorry about that. Look forward to the official thing next year. So
I really hope they just polish it up. I really just hope that it's 4K. I mean, it's got to be 4K at this point. It's got to be 4K. It's got to have the ray tracing. It'd be really cool. Just touch up the graphics a little bit. I don't know how much love they're gonna show this thing, but touch up the graphics a little bit. It looks like in their 20th anniversary promo image that they had on X, it looked way better. And I hope that looks something similar. I mean, obviously they can't just redo the game or it'd be like a remake, but just touch it up a little bit. Give it a little bit of love. And I'll be happy.
From what I remember, when the game was announced and released, it was kind of a dark horse. I just feel like it kind of came out of nowhere, and it just had an interesting enough premise that it kind of got us all interested to try it. And I remember just kind of walking away from it being just amazed at how seamlessly they merged a bunch of different genres into one game and made it all feel like they all belonged. I've never been an espionage kind of person. I'm not generally interested in those types of games. I there are times when they draw me in, but it's not my usual style. And I remember just being over the moon with how much fun they managed to make those aspects of this game. The moments when you had to sneak past guards, and maybe it was just that it wasn't as stiffly challenging as it can be in some games. I don't know, but I just remember a couple times when I figured out a certain way to sneak past, some specific guards, and my brain just exploded with all the dopamine, kind of thing. It's just really fun moments like that. And then the sleuthing part where you're doing the investigative work to reveal the real plot that's going on, that just made it feel so cool to me. Mm-hmm. And so, it's not my usual style, but I absolutely fell in love with the game over even just those elements. I guess in some ways it's kind of, you might almost call it light on each individual element, but the way it just makes it all work together just makes the game feel like a total package that's just more than the sum of its parts. And so, the combat, relatively straightforward but competent and enjoyable. I really remember a lot of fun moments there. I've already talked about the sleuthing. Some moments where there's like a chase scene. Okay, there's one particular chase scene. Steven will show it right now. Where you didn't you say you have a save file right before that part just so you can replay it every time you want?
Yep.
I remember the first time I played that 20 years ago. Holy crap! But the first time I played this sequence, I was just screaming with joy. Like it was insane. It was tense. It was heady, and oh man, like I don't know how they did it so perfectly. And it's a game with a very interesting story. I thought, it's a world that sucks you in and just makes everything feel like it fits. I don't know how to say it better, but it was a game that came out of nowhere and became one of my all-time favorites, just, effortlessly, it seemed like. And so for me, having that game come back, to capture a new audience or just even, give those of us who loved the original, an exciting reason to play it again, I'm here for it. I'm really excited.
I was going to say something I'm excited about is that I was actually, I don't remember how old I was, but I was young enough that all of the sneaking parts stressed me out so much. They'd still probably stress me out, but they stressed me out so much that I didn't finish the game. And so I'm kind of like, ooh, I now have a chance to finish the game. Because I remember always being like, I like the games I like. Like, I like Zelda and I like, blah, blah, blah. But it was such a unique concept that I feel like still I haven't seen very many people do a game that's quite like Beyond Good and Evil. So yeah, I kind of wish that they would do more of them because I like them a lot. But yeah, so that's why I'm excited, because maybe I'll actually beat it this time instead of getting stressed out.
I was thinking about something you said, Anthony, about the stealth sequences and how, I myself, I don't play a ton of stealth games, but some of my funnest memories of playing the game were the stealth sections. I remember like hiding in a grate and I could see one of the scanning robots. Its beams like came into the little space I was in and I just barely avoided them. It was just, it was suspenseful. Like if you can make stealth gameplay feel suspenseful, then you've solved it, right? For a lot of people, stealth gameplay is boring, right?
I don't know. I feel like there's, again, I'm not like an expert on the genre and I haven't played a ton of games like it, but there, the times that I have played games that are stealth focused, there are times when, it's not engaging either because, it's too forgiving. And so it's just like, well, I can just kind of dash out there and get behind a cover and the enemies will just suddenly have goldfish brain and forget I'm there. And so what's the point? Or on the other end of the spectrum, it's so unforgiving that, I get sick of, oh my gosh, I got seen by, eagle-eyed, bozo over there. And so now I have to start this whole 20-minute sequence all over again. And it takes 20 minutes because I have to be that stinking careful. Anyway, maybe that's just me and my impatient self. But I don't know how they managed to make it feel like a really good balance in Beyond Good and Evil. But they did. Yeah. Well, and also, I don't know. I feel like the set pieces were very memorable to me. I felt like, when you were infiltrating a particular base to try and get proof of, a specific, something that you were going to report on as part of your work in the Iris network. I just remember thinking, oh man, we're going to that place with that information that we're going to try and get. Like, that's exciting. And maybe that's another part for me is like, I know what I'm sneaking for. It's not just to get past these dudes. It's I'm trying to get the dirt on these bad guys, and it just makes it feel more visceral, more exciting. Like I know why I'm doing this.
I say my theory about the stealth sequences. I wonder if they made it feel like a puzzle, right? It's not just in other games. It's just the stealth sequences just wait a long time until they're looking somewhere else, and then go past them, right?
I think you're right.
It's not just wait a long time until the enemy's not looking. There's a puzzle element to it, and it just makes it so much more interesting.
You are totally right. That is exactly, because as soon as you said that, my brain's like, that is what it was. I felt like And maybe there's people who who appreciate having more than one solution, or having it be kind of open ended. But I like that sense of puzzle solving. Chalk it up to me being a hardcore Zelda fan. I don't know, but I think you're right, David. It's that was a big part of it for me.
And we can't go on any further without saying that the story, that the story is incredible. I loved it. Favorite character, Double H, all the way. And we had a previous discussion a while ago. If you haven't seen it yet, you can see here. There was talk about a movie at some point, and I suggested to have Patrick Warburton play Double H because that'd be just awesome.
You would be so great.
Check out that over there.
I wanted to comment too. We moved on from it, but that chase sequence that Steven has, like a save file just for that. I've never played another game where I was like laughing my head off because of how awesome a chase sequence was.
Same.
It was just like
same. Absolutely.
It was just like, I was a little panicked, but also just like having the time of my life. It was just I think the way they did it was very cinematic. The way the story throws you into it, it was so good.
It was so epic. And I remember too, like part of the shock factor was I'm pretty sure it came right after the sequence of sneaking around, and then all of a sudden they're like there waiting for you, and it just kind of throws you into the chase. And I remember the epicness of like things exploding around you and all the guys chasing you. That it sticks out in my mind as one of my favorite experiences in gaming. I don't have many that are on that level of good gaming memories.
So basically, all this comes down to is like a lot of us, probably all of us, have like really good memories of playing this game, and I feel like it's kind of underrated. I don't think it's
grossly underrated.
So it deserves second chances.
About 7 years ago, we got a teaser trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2 with Paige in the road, like Lisa was saying earlier, with the tree, and there was hardly anything said. Paige said like one line, and then that was it. And it was like, oh, they are working on it. Okay, sweet. And then we didn't hear anything for 2 more years, and then they gave us the cinematic trailer, which had just so much bad language in it that it was hard to watch. The trashiest curse word you can say, just all over the place. And then it dropped off the planet again. We haven't seen it again since. And
I didn't watch that one, as I said earlier, because I didn't know it happened. Well, I wonder if what they were trying to do was like make it grittier.
Mm-hmm. It was cringier. It was so.
No.
It was such a strong attempt to make it grittier that it just fell into complete cringe territory.
Yeah.
I want to jump in and say, so I actually never watched the trailers because of what Steven and David told me about it, and I didn't care for that. I'm not interested in such vulgarities, but also I think the thing that kind of drove me nuts is the promise, or at least the apparent promise of the original trailer that came out 7 years ago. Seemed like it was going to be a continuation of the story of the characters that we grew to love in the first game. So they showed Paige. It's a big deal. I got excited because I'm like, oh, cool, we're going to get to see Jade again. She's such a cool character, such a boss. And so I was excited for a continuation of that. And then when I heard what they announced, even though I didn't watch the trailer, it kind of came across instead as like one of those games where they simply set it in the same world, but instead it's one of those build your own character and do whatever the heck you want kind of games. And I know there's a market for that. I know people really enjoy those. I don't like those games. I don't enjoy them, personal opinion. Or it's a lot harder to make a good story with a character you create and you drive their motivations. Like I mean, they have their place, and I've heard I have a good friend who actually says one game that does that really, really well is Cyberpunk. I haven't played it, so throwing that out there. But I just, even if they were able to tell a good story with these characters that you make and they live in this world and they do whatever the heck they were doing, that's not the story I want. I want a story about Jade and Paige and Double H and all the other people we knew, and I want to see what happens next. And so
I also want that. But it also, just so Anthony knows, because he never watched the trailer, not only was it built like you can create your own character or whatever, but it was also a prequel to the first game.
That's right.
I was also,
too.
yes, I also wanted a continuation of Beyond Good and Evil. Instead, we're getting like a weird prequel thing with Jade doing some really weird things when she's like a kid. You're like, what is she doing? It looks like she's like with the enemy or something. And it's like, what is going on? And you don't even, if you don't play as Jade, come on. She's, like Anthony said, she's a boss. She is boss. She is so cool. Give me the story I wanted 7 years ago in that original trailer where we play as Jade and have this cool, original continuation of the story. Because, dang, that is what we want.
I think that Jade and Samus would be friends because they're just that cool. Anyway.
I like that. Sorry, I was just going to say real quick, I actually have this silly thing. I don't love prequels, so...
No,
A prequel is like... So, remember that one game you played where you were trying to fix everything that was bad? How about, would you like to see how everything turned awful? Wouldn't that be fun? I'm like, no, I don't want to know how everything turned awful. I want to fix it and make it nice. Anyway.
I agree. For some reason, I have the same thing. Right? I don't know if I can think of any prequel that, even just saying the word prequel, I'm not excited anymore. I don't know why. I'm curious how fans received it, because I know we didn't receive it well. I wonder if anyone else that loved the first game was, wait, this isn't what we wanted. Or if a lot of people were just like excited for anything in the same universe. Maybe this 20th anniversary edition of the first game releasing is an opportunity, remind us.
Rethink our thought process.
Maybe the reason we've seen nothing is because they're like, never mind. Let's start over. Yeah, maybe there was some backlash. Maybe they pedaled back a little. And if it's still in development, maybe it'll be something closer to what we're hoping for.
Yeah, one can hope, because even though we've not had a lot of good things to say about BGD 2 at this point, we're definitely super fans of the original, and we would love to see the legacy of that original game honored, not only by this remaster that we're very excited for, but hopefully by the sequel that it deserves. And, I guess that's all very subjective because, some people might say, well, maybe that is the sequel it deserves. But it's not the sequel I want. And I hope that's not how it turns out, because I want to be excited for more. This game has had no love for 20 years. And I'm ready. I Stephen, you called it a franchise earlier. I don't think we can even call it that yet, but I hope this is the start of it becoming one, because I want this to be more than just a one-off. Let us know in the comments what you think about these announcements of a remake, and let us know if you think they're actually going to make it look pretty instead of that footage that wasn't great, and whether or not you're excited about it.
If you want a movie adaptation with Patrick Warburton.
And also, if you guys liked the footage, I'd like to hear your thoughts on what you liked about it and why you feel like it was a good direction, even though, as I said, I don't love prequels, so I would probably be like, oh, dang it, what the heck?
We can definitely say we're excited for the idea of a remaster of the original, and Ubisoft, do good by it, please.
Darn right. And you heard it here first. And until next time, guys,
Keep it nerdy.
Nerdy.
Nerdy.